sir. How are you? Hey, mama.
Jorge, do you have a presentation? Do you have a presentation? So it's just this one, and what's the third one? It's just them, ¿verdad? Ready, sir?
Hey, Grandma. Now you have a full house. I forgot what it looked like.
All right.
Yeah. Howdy, everybody. I've never. It's been so long.
It is so good to see a full house like this. I've missed this. It's been a long time coming. We're going to have to wait patiently for 2 minutes before we can officially start. But welcome all. It's good to see you all.
Test, test, 1, 2, test, test. Media room, countdown 3, 2, 1. Record. Media room, 3, 2, 1, go live.
Today, Tuesday, March 30th, time 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. To my right, Honorable Oscar Salinas. Next to him, Honorable Louis Alamia. And the Honorable Minga Vela, our Superintendent, Dr. Mario Salinas, myself, Miguel Mike Farias. To my left, the Honorable Letty Garcia. And next to her, the Honorable Carmen Gonzalez, and our legal Kevin O'Hanlon is here. And this constitutes a quorum. Number 2, prayer and pledge.
Please bow your heads. Almighty God, for as much as we are in this world to make it a better place, help us to be reminded that it is not what we take out of it, but what we put into it that will make a difference. Direct us all here tonight, and especially during this Holy Week, that we might serve justice and promote dignity and freedom through education for every person. Through Jesus Christ our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Dr. Salinas, certification of public notice.
I certify that the agenda was posted under the guidelines of the Texas Open Meetings Act.
Very good. We'll go to number 4, awards and recognitions. 4A, Transportation Department, recognition of Jose Guadalupe Rivera, recipient of the Property Casualty Alliance of Texas PCAT Local, Regional, and State Bus Driver of the Year Award.
Good evening, President Farias and Dr. Salinas, members of the board, legal counsel, members of the community. We are honored from the Transportation Department, my colleagues, Mr. Jose Eloy Pulido, Oscar Gonzalez, supervisor, Josie San Miguel, trainer, our secretary, Joanne Lewis. We are honored tonight to have our PCAT Driver of the Year, Property Casualty Alliance of Texas, Mr. Jose G. Rivera. He was nominated and selected by PCAT as the Driver of the Year for Edinburg CISD. Mr. Rivera has been a school bus driver with ECISD since February 28th of 2002, about 19 years. He is married to his lovely wife, Denise Rivera, who serves as a bus monitor for our school district. And they have 2 wonderful sons, Justin and Devin Rivera. So congratulations. At this time, I'd like to present Mr. Chase Carlisle of Carlisle Insurance, Vice President. He has some words as well.
Good evening. This will be a little bit repetitive, but I do want to read this because it's a very important award that we're doing here tonight. School board members, administrators, and guests, on behalf of PCAT and Carlisle Insurance, I want to thank you for the opportunity to honor one of your own this evening. Each day, school bus drivers are entrusted with safely transporting our children to and from school. No matter the weather conditions or the traffic, their performance on the road must always be A+. PCAT and Carlisle Insurance recognizes that school bus drivers help set the tone for children's daily experiences. You can say that they are our school's ambassadors. Typically, the bus driver is the first school person who sees children in the morning and the last to see them in the afternoon. And just as it's said about great school teachers, PCAT and Carlisle believe that the same holds true for the best school bus drivers. It's a job, it's not a job, it's a calling. Every year, PCAT welcomes Bus Driver of the Year nominations from all transportation stakeholders. Nominations are based upon 5 attributes: leadership, attitude, perseverance, student and parent relationships, and technical skill. The evaluators look particularly for those exceptional drivers who demonstrate a consistent desire to positively influence both students and coworkers through their actions and attitudes, and not just words. On behalf of PCAT and Carlisle Insurance, it's my honor this evening to present Mr. Jose Rivera with the 2021 PCAT Bus Driver of the Year Award. And to go a little further, there's another award that we're presenting this evening for him as well. After one bus driver selected at each participating PCAT member district, which is about 180 districts across the state of Texas, PCAT selects a small group of outstanding drivers who have been held to even higher level of dedication and accomplishment, naming them as the PCAT Regional Bus Driver of the Year. From that group, a single statewide Bus Driver of the Year is honored. This designation represents the highest level of dedication and accomplishment. Mr. Revere has been nominated and received the award for the 2021 PCAT Statewide Bus Driver of the Year. Please help me in congratulating him as we give him a personalized jacket, a special plaque he can display at home, as well as another plaque the school district will display. And last but not least, we will be presenting him with a $1,000 check. Congratulations, Mr. Revere.
I'm doing well, you?
Good, doing great.
That was awesome.
That was
One of our own.
Congratulations, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, 4B, recognition of Texas honor roll schools for 2019 and 2020. Ms. Guzman?
Good evening, Board President Farias, Superintendent Salinas, and distinguished board members. We're here tonight to recognize our ECISD campus principals and schools that have been named by the Educational Results Partnership Program as 2019-2020 Texas Honor Roll Schools. The Honor Roll program, sponsored by the Campaign for Business and Education Excellence, is part of a national effort to identify higher performing schools and districts that are improving student outcomes. It recognizes public, elementary, middle, and high schools that demonstrate high levels of student academic achievement, improvement in achievement over time, and reduction in achievement gaps. Approximately 3,500 public schools nationwide were recognized, and we are proud to say that 17 of those schools are from Edinburgh CISD.
Very good.
To help me recognize the campus principals, I'd like to ask Dr. Salinas to help me present the plaques. The program came into existence in 2014 and 2015. So this has been 6 years since they've been recognizing our campus schools, and a lot of our schools, several of our schools you'll see, have been designated honor roll schools for the 6 years. So that's a great accomplishment for our schools and for our school district. Joining the Texas Honor Roll Schools for the first year, we have Cano Gonzalez Elementary School, Principal Nelda Gaitan. Crawford Elementary School, Principal Denise Vega. Freddy Gonzalez Elementary School, Principal Naida Torres. Lee Elementary School, Principal Alanda Navarro. With 2 years designated as a Texas Honor Roll School recipient, we have Lincoln Elementary Principal Eva Sandoval. With 3 years, we have De La Viña Elementary Principal Erica Plale. Three years for Gorena Elementary, Principal Diane Willis. Truman Elementary, Principal Leticia Duarte. We have one South Middle School with 3 years with a recognition. We have South Middle School, Dr. Mary Garza. With 4 years receiving this honor, we have Cavazos Elementary School, Principal Christine Gordon. Four years, Ramirez Elementary, Principal Clarissa Ramirez. Five years, Austin Elementary School, Principal Carla De Luna. .5 years, McGee Elementary School, Principal Marla Cavazos. .6 years, Flores Zapata Elementary School, Principal Victoria Martinez. .6 years, Trevino Elementary School, Principal Brenda Alonso. The next two schools that I'm going to call out have also received 6 consecutive years, and in addition to that, they also have a distinction of being designated as a STEM designee. So for science and math scores as well. So we have with 6 years, Canterbury Elementary School, Principal Ricardo Perez. Jefferson Elementary School, Principal Ana Salinas. We're very proud of our 17 schools. So again, congratulations to our schools, and if I could ask the board to please join them for a photo.
Yes, Ms. Guzman, and if I may, I would also like to dedicate this in memoriam to our former principal from Austin Elementary, the late Mr. Romero Cano. Thank you. Can hear him.
Okay. Number 5, Superintendent's Report. A, Financial Report from August 2020 to January 2021.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Farias, members of the board, Dr. Salinas, and legal counsel. I'm going to be going over the reports that you received a booklet for the financial reports from August 2020 to January 2021. But I'm only going to be presenting the reports for the month of January. The first report is on page 66 of your booklet. It's a monthly comparison report for the general and debt service funds as of January 31st, 2021. The first item is total revenues. We budgeted $379,931,961. Year-to-date actual of $207,740,384. Staying on the same page, under 66, now we have the expenditures. Total expenditures budgeted, $403,236,798. Year-to-date actual, $139,064,151. We have spent 34.49% of our budget as of January 31st. Staying on the same page, page 66, we have an excess of revenues over expenditures of $68,676,233. Under other financing resources, you see $35,394,362. Those are the maintenance tax notes for the Kate building. Adding this one to the 68 million, we have excess of revenues over expenditures of 104,070,595. We have a beginning fund balance as of September 1st, 2020 of combined general and debt service funds of 93,139,901, giving us a fund balance as of January 31st of 197,210,496. Our next report is our condition of funds. It is on page 70 of your booklet. This report lists all the investments by funds. Staying on the same page, sum of monthly cash balance report. Total cash, $220,346,003. Total invested, $201,360,931.07. Percent of funds invested, 91.38%. Total collateral, $201,610,931.07. Our next page is our monthly tax collection report. It is on page 71 of your booklet. This gives you a breakdown of the tax collections for the month of January. Section 1 gives you a breakdown of the collections. Current year's taxes collected, $31,889,301.30. Rollback taxes, $13,320.24. Prior year's taxes of $330,302.37. Prior year's penalties and interest, $111,385.95. Attorney's fees, $62,914.71, giving us a grand total of taxes collected for the month of January of $32,407,224.57. Under comparison of percent collected, 2020-2021, 80.68%. In comparison to the same period last year, 2019-2020, 79.87%. As you can see, there is an increase of 0.81%. Section 2 gives you a comparison of the actual collections with the budgeted amounts. Actual current and prior year's taxes collected as of January 31st, $68,669,921. We budgeted $82,217,800. Under budget, remaining budget, $13,547,879. Percent of budget collected is 83.52%. Under Section 3, it gives you the percent of 2020 goals collected to date. Total delinquent taxes of $8,820,905. Total delinquent taxes collected, $1,424,522. Percent of gold collected to date of 57.68%. Our next report is on page 74 of your booklet. This is the portfolio summary. It gives you a listing of all the investments that we have as of January 31st. Current year interest is $95,200.48. Effective rate of return, 0.17%. Our next report is our monthly health report. It is on page 77 of your booklet. Now, our plan year starts in January, goes from January through December 31st. So we're starting a brand-new plan year, and it should read 2020 instead of 2021, I'm sorry. Under revenues, year-to-date collected for the month of January of $2,884,555.38. Staying on the same page, gives you expenditures, fixed cost, administrative fees, Blue Cross Blue Shield of $383,884.53. Our stop-loss coverage premium is $91,513.31, giving us a total combined fixed cost of $95,397.84. Under claims, first of all, medical, medical claims of $2,593,081.54. Pharmacy, $1,060,347.06, giving us a combined total claims for medical and pharmacy for the month of January of $3,653,428.60. Under other expenses, consultant services, $5,462.50. If you add the fixed costs, the total claims, and total other expenses, you get total expenditures of $3,754,288.94. For the month of January, we have a loss. Our expenditures are exceeding our revenues by $869,733.56. Our beginning equity is $12,495,245.22. giving us a total ending equity as of January of $11,625,511.66. Our next report is on page 78 of your booklet. This gives you a comparison for the current year, plan year 2021, in comparison to prior year 2020. Under total revenues, as of January 31st, 2021, we have $2,884,555.38. In comparison, same time last year of $2,782,462.02. Under expenditures, administrative fees, current year $3,884.53. In comparison to plan year 20 of $2,077.67. Under stop-loss coverage, current year plan year at $91,513.31. In comparison to plan year 2020 of $81,509.47. Total fixed cost, current year plan of $95,397.84. In comparison to last year of $83,587.14. Under claims, under medical, current year 2021 is $2,593,081.54. In comparison to plan year 2020 of $2,194,496.27. Pharmacy, current year plan year is $1,060,347.06. In comparison to last year, $931,545.33. Giving us a total combined claims of medical and pharmacy for the current year of $3,653,428.60. In comparison to plan year 2020 of $3,126,41.60. Under total other expenses, plan year 2021 of $5,462.50 in comparison to last year of $10,925. Giving us a combined total expenditures for plan year 2021 of $3,754,288.94. In comparison to plan year 2020 of $3,220,553.74. For the month of January 2021, we had a loss of $869,753.60. We also had a loss in plan year 2020 of $438,000. Ending equity for plan year 2021 is $11,625,511.66. In comparison to plan year 2020 of $10,864,465.81. This concludes the report.
I wanted to ask a question concerning
Yes, sir.
this. We see an increase of 16.87% of the total claims. They've gone up about over $500,000 from last year to this year.
Correct, 527,387.
Okay, and since that, that's something that we need to look at, that's a considerable amount of increase on our self-funded health insurance fund. This is, it's disturbing to me because it's such a large amount. Yet, our ending equity, we have more money than last year. But it's not because of savings, but it's the additional $40 the district put in per
Correct.
month,
Correct,
per employee.
correct.
So we need to take a serious look at that situation, even though the bottom line, it shows that we're doing better,
But not really.
we're not really. You know, the fact of the matter that we're doing an additional $40 per month per employee is the only reason why we're up.
Correct.
If we didn't do that additional contribution, we would be balanced out. So we need to take, in my opinion, a serious look into making sure that the claims that we're paying are claims that are being serviced. We need checks and balances to make sure that, because that's drastic. That's over $500,000 increase in 1 year.
Correct.
And that's.
And it's only 1 month.
Huh? I'm sorry?
And it's only 1 month.
In 1 month, thank you.
Yeah,
$500,000 in 1
Yeah.
month. That would be good, that would, I don't care how much more money we put into the kitty.
you need to stop that. You need to
Yes,
stop
we need
the-
to stop it. And it's something that needs to be addressed, and I guess in the insurance committee, we can go ahead and take a look at that and see what we can do to address that issue. That is an alarming issue. The other thing that I wanted to point out was on page 66, the percentage that has been spent on page 66, where it has the total expenditures. The code 6020. If you could go back,
60/20, the total expenditures
yes,
of 139,064,151.
yes. Right now, we're supposed to be at 41.66%, correct?
Yes, because we already gone through five months out of the fiscal year.
Yes.
Out of the 12.
So I just want to make clear that we're below budget,
Correct,
and we're supposed to be at 41.66%. That would be us being right at budget. What do you attribute that to?
to what's going on, sir.
Okay, the cost savings of the
Cost
diesel,
savings of what's going on
cost
with the
savings,
pandemic.
okay.
Yes,
And this is a 5-month period here that we're looking at, correct?
correct,
Okay. And that's something to keep in mind, and yet our fund balance is at $93 million.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a combined general and debt service fund.
okay,
As of September 1st, 2020.
okay. So what's not included here is the 9 million that we're gonna get back
Correct,
for the computers, correct?
correct,
Okay.
correct.
I just want to make sure that the public understands that even though we've been through this crisis, we're financially, you know, very solvent here. But then also another thing I wanted to point out that really caught my attention was on page, it had to do with the percentages of the, what we used to have in CDs that we don't have in CDs anymore.
Oh, it's on page 74?
What page was that?
74?
74.
Yes.
On page 74, on our total investments, we're making 0.17 of 1%. That's not even a quarter of 1%. It's 0.17 of 1% on $201 million of investment. Now, I know the year prior, we had investments in CDs. And this year, I noticed that we have investment pools and NBIM investments.
Correct.
Could you explain to the public why we do not have these in CDs like we did in the prior years?
Yes, during the 2019, 2020, we had CDs of 17,430,000. And then they matured in March of 2020, and that's when we went out for proposals to the banks. And what the CD rate that what they were offering us was lower than what we were getting at the investment pools. So we decided to catch in our CD and put it into the investment pool. 'Cause
Okay.
We make comparisons because at that time, they had quoted us a rate of 0.489 for CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And then the investment pools, we were getting between 1.62 to 1.561. So we decided to keep it in the investment pools.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, has the market changed? No? Okay.
We
Is-
can go out and see what's available.
Okay. It's just, that's a lot of money that is sitting there. And of course, we have to take every precaution because these is taxpayers' dollars and make sure they're secured. But it's just such a shame when such a small interest rate of return compared to what we used to be getting with the CDs back in 19 and 18 and 17.
Before everything.
Yes, before the epidemic. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
The positive thing in this report is that our taxpayers are being very good about paying
Yes.
taxes.
Yes,
And we have 82% collected, that's by January, that's very good. So we need to thank our taxpayers for keeping
Yes.
us alive.
Yes,
And-
Mrs. Gonzalez, I went ahead and prepared the report as of February. And as of February, we, percent of budget collected is 93.46%. And we budgeted at 94, so
That's why we
we're
need-
close.
Yes.
We're doing well.
yes, and, you know, we attribute that because I think the majority of us waited till January
January
30th to pay our
30th.
taxes.
To pay our taxes,
So-
yeah.
So it didn't come out till the February report.
Yes.
But you know, that's encouraging because we budgeted at 94 and it's at 93.7?
93.46%
93.46%
as of February.
as of February. And there's still more money trickling in. So
Yes.
we may get, we budgeted for 94, but we usually get 96, 97?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's looking good. That's a very good point, Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank
That
you very
even though
much.
we were going through this crisis, people still pay their taxes.
Yes, they're still paying their taxes.
Yes, and also, the growth of this, the growth around our area, that's a bigger amount that's coming in than what we're used to because of the constant growth that we have
Correct.
happening within our district.
Correct.
That's good. Very good point. Any other questions? Comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to 5B, enrollment report as of March 26, 2021.
Mr. Moreno?
Yes, sir. Superintendent, Board President, in your packet, you have the enrollment comparison comparing Friday, March 26, 2021. Enrollment, you'll see that listed there, 32,787, compared to the same school week, school day, comparatively in the 1920 school year of March 13th, 2020. And you'll see that number there, and you'll see the two numbers compared. At the March 9th meeting, there was a discussion regarding recruitment and enrollment, and Dr. Salinas initiated a district-wide recruitment and enrollment plan. And here to give you an update on some of those efforts is our parental involvement supervisor, is Sandra Rodriguez.
Good evening, Superintendent Salinas, Board President Farias, and members of the board. Is it on here? Okay, thank you. So yes, like Dr. Moreno said, Dr. Salinas has started a recruitment plan, an initiative based on the conversation that I saw on March 19th. Our parental mom and assistants have been making phone calls diligently every day since spring of 2020 and have continued this school year. Home visits were not made because of the pandemic, but home visits started again about 2-3 weeks ago. And we have some information for you all based on the recruitment plan that we initiated last Wednesday, March 24th. Thank you. So our parental mom and assistants at the elementary level met on Tuesday with us. We went over the recruitment forms that were created for them to be able to log the information that they would be providing to us. Okay, go ahead. So we have 31 elementary PIAs. They met, information was given to them, and they started visits on the 24th, last Wednesday. Once they received the information, either through a home visit to the families or a phone call, they came back and we were inputting that information into a Google form. We're wanting, our families back. We're making sure that they have all the resources necessary for them to be able to send their children, of course, to school. So we identified the students that withdrew in spring of 2020 and that did not enroll this school year, 2021. The parental involvement assistants have been conducting home visits and contacting our students and parents, okay? They either go out on the home visit with the police officer from the campus or the bus driver. And the bus drivers have done an amazing job of taking our staff out because they know the area so well. So they've been a great help. We've been documenting the progress that we've made, the contacts with families, like I said, either through home visits or phone calls. Some have taken 2 or 3 home visits, some have taken 2 or 3 phone calls before they're able to speak to someone, if they do get a response. District, of course, is reporting the results, and we do have a timeline for the recruitment and the enrollment of students to continue. And just so you can see, from Wednesday, March 24th through Monday, yesterday afternoon, the 29th, 1,254 contact log entries were made by the PIAs, 850 home visits, and that's not including the numbers for today because they've still been logging their numbers in. The grades that were most frequently logged in that they made contact with were second graders, 184, first graders, we had 178, and in pre-K, we had 167. The campuses that have showed the highest number of students contacted and logged in were Truman Elementary with 82, Avila Elementary with 74, Crawford Elementary with 64, McGee Elementary with 62, and Cavazos with 58. And the numbers are really close with the campuses that follow. It just depends on the number of students that they have that have withdrawn. Where our students are currently, and this is the data that the PIs entered as of 5 p.m. today. Students enrolled in another district, 694. Student moved out of state, 94. Student moved to Mexico, 52. Student moved to another country, 0. Student is at home and not enrolled in school, 82. Student is enrolled in daycare, 5. Student is enrolled in ECISD, but not attending school, 7. We put a student has a part-time job or full-time job because they were also asking about their brothers or sisters in middle school and high school. We had 0. The student will enroll in ECISD, 45. The parent has chosen to homeschool their child, 69. And no information available because either there's no one at home, empty lot, or they're not answering, 206. Our next steps, of course, are to continue with the campus parental mom and assistance to conduct home visits and continue contacting students, whether it's through home visits or phone calls. T-Rex, phone link, anything that we can use. We're even trying our social media. That's helped in the past. Continue documenting progress of contact by campus. Continue district reporting results. And of course, continue recruitment and enrollment of all students. Any questions?
Could you go back
Yes, sir.
one slide? Am I understanding correctly that the top 3, student enrolled in other districts, student move out of state, and student move to Mexico, those children or those students there have been accounted for, so we already know where they're at?
Yes, sir. They made
And
contact with the parent.
most likely, they're not coming back.
Correct. Or they made contact with a neighbor or a relative.
That totals 840 students. That's a very large number.
Yes, sir.
Very large number. The other number is, chosen to do homeschool is 69. And no information available is 206. The total that you have there is about over 1,100 kids.
Correct. 1254, I believe.
1254? So we've accounted for 1254, yet our total loss, or our total difference from last year to this year is 1449.
Correct. So they're still conducting home visits. They have not been able to contact all the students, so they're doing what they can to contact a
Okay.
family member or relative to see where they're at.
Okay. And that's alarming in the sense that 840 of them, we already know the chances of them coming back are slim to none.
Correct. And our staff has been talking to them about, we want you back, what resources are needed. A lot of them did mention that they had to leave because either a parent lost a job and they had to move with another family member. They had to move out of state to find a job, or they lost their home to the hurricane.
Could you give us a detailed report of the 694 students that enrolled in another district?
Yes, sir.
As far as why, number
Mhm.
one. Number 2, where? That's alarming too. That's a very large number. We know they're in the system.
Correct.
But they're not in our school district.
Correct. And they do have that information on the Google form that the staff has been inputting the information into, our Google form. They specified where they're at. So whether it's McAllen, PSJ, another district, our charter school, that was entered into the contact log.
Okay. And move out of state, is that because either they lost their homes or their hurricane?
They lost a loved one due to the pandemic. They lost a parent, if it's students, and they moved to be with a family member, a guardian, or they lost their home to the hurricane in July.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Rodriguez and Dr.
ma'am.
Moreno, this being said, as President Farias has said, is a high alarming number of losing students,
Correct.
especially to the ones that have gone to another district. When before,
Mhm.
we would only total about 80 to 100. That has quadrupled now. On the homeschooling, I know that that's an excessive high number, being here myself. On the normal range, we used to have only 10 to 15, and I understand probably because of the pandemic.
Correct.
But this one, number one, that they left somewhere else, I can almost tell you where they went. So in addition to what Mr. President Farias is saying, what is the main reason, Dr. Moreno, Ms. Rodriguez, and Dr. Salinas, that prompted these parents to go seek elsewhere instead of stay with us? What was it? And in these recruitment efforts that you're having right now, what has been the involvement of the campus principal, as I have said it millions of times, to recruit their own students to their campus? What is their part? You are not the only one, or you are not the solution. The solution lies within the campus principal and his or her recruitment efforts to bring back their own students. What has been their participation in helping you with this Ignite campaign? Will you please answer that?
They've allowed the PIAs to make the home visits, and then I've asked them to give them time to input when they are back at the campus to make sure that those phone calls and home visits are being recorded.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Vela, your point is exactly correct. And we had that exact discussion with the principals when we presented this to them. And we emphasized that this initial recruitment and enrollment is just the first phase. It's just the beginning. Part of this process is to give a shorter list, an edited list, a very focused list to the principals with contact numbers, because everyone in this room, we met in here actually, agreed there's no more important relationship than the principal and the parent. And we recognize, and everyone recognized, that the principals are a part of this recruitment and enrollment of our students. Just because students are enrolled in another district doesn't mean that we are not going to recruit. We can develop text campaigns, email. We have students' addresses, we have their email, we have their phone number when they were enrolled with us. We can initiate a recruitment effort to be able to contact them and ask them to enroll in Edinburgh CISD.
And your main partner will be that campus principal?
Exactly.
Correct. Because looking at this report, the numbers have not gone down.
Yes, ma'am.
According to this in red, they're still the same as when we met on March 9th. And I thank you, Ms. Rodriguez, you and your PIA staff. I know they are phenomenal, and they're always on the phone, and as you're saying, making home visit and putting themselves at risk, all for our beloved ECISD. So thank you, and for the great job that you all have been doing.
Thank you, definitely.
Mr. President,
Yes, go ahead, Ms.
so of the
Gonzalez.
206 information not available, are those kids not, what does that mean?
So, Mr. Salinas, they've made the home visit. It's either an empty lot, there's someone else living in the home, and they don't know where the family went. The phone numbers we have on Skyward are not working, so they've done everything they can. We've looked for them in the T-Rex system, and they're not enrolled somewhere else, so they haven't been able to make contact with them.
Can you break down also on the 694,
Yes, sir.
how many of those are pre-K?
Okay,
Okay,
and I do have that. As the staff is inputting into the Google form, it breaks down what grade level, what the comment was, so what district they went to or what campus, or if they're homeschooled. And a lot of the homeschool said, we're keeping them this school year for homeschool, but they will be back.
okay.
And
So the
A lot of
60,
those that
and
have
the
left-
69 will probably be able to get some back from those,
correct.
the
And even from
homeschool.
the 694, they told the staff, you know, it's just because of the pandemic, but they will be back next school year.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes, sir.
what about the 82 on the student at home not enrolled in school? Will they be returning back?
Student at home and not enrolled in school, they're afraid. They just don't want to come back to the campuses.
Have we offered the vaccine to the families of these students?
We've offered devices, we've offered to enroll them. My staff offered to enroll them while they were there because they have devices with them. and assured them that they would be able,
Even asynchronous?
correct. So that was offered to them as well.
We've
And-
got to get them back.
And can,
Yes.
by state law, don't they have to eventually get enrolled?
Yes.
By age 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
Correct.
so of the 82, you're more talking pre-K then?
Correct.
Oh, okay, that
Yes,
makes
sir.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr.
Because-
President, I have a comment to make. Mr. Salinas, Ms. Carmen's been trying to get my attention, so I'll let her go first, and then, if you don't mind, right after her, you can speak. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Ms. Gonzalez.
To add some reality to the figures, this has been presented to us from the very beginning. It was, what, 1,500, now it's 1,444. The fact that we know the numbers of how many are not here, and for what reason, the fact remains that this is going to be a problem for the district for funding purposes. And as we look at the second report, I admire and I know how hard it is. For whatever reason, we tried everything to get the kids to come back to school, and they have. We can make all kinds of reasons why the fact remains that since the beginning, they have not been here. But to add the reality of losing funds is in this page here. We only have April and May to comply with the 21% that needs to be present in order for us, for our funding to remain the same.
Yes, ma'am.
So as we look at the individual elementary, middle school, high school, we're far from the 21%. And that 21% means that they have to be here every day for the last 6 weeks. Now, this information about where they are is good. I think we need to work with the ones that are already here to make sure they come to school so that our funding will not be affected. Because 21% daily attendance, not just they're 1 day here and 2 days home, they got to be active.
To your point,
21%.
Ms. Gonzalez, that is a number that we're tracking. And we're at, right now, if you look at the number of students that are on campus, I believe the last number that I saw was right below 20%. Now, the consecutive piece, the consecutive attendance is the one that we are keeping a very close eye on, because you are right. The state is requiring that we just not hit that above 21% threshold, but they have to be consecutively attending the school on average for that last 6 weeks. That's a discussion point that Dr. Salinas emphasizes almost daily, that we are looking at, and I know that Ms. Guzman and her team through CNI are monitoring the student attendance and that the campus is inputting. So it's being monitored daily to try and make sure that incentives, we're talking to principals regarding incentives, trying to increase student attendance and build and continue to build and bring students on campus. Because you're right, we need to increase and get over that 20% and stay there.
We haven't improved.
Yeah.
Is
Um,
it 20 or 21?
Javier Salinas, go ahead, sir. Thank you for joining us.
I've been on since 6:05, Mr. President, but.
Very good. For the record, Mr. Javier Salinas has been since 6:05. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and I'm still here at work, so I just wanna say that, you know, with attendance, in regards to our attendance, like Ms. Carmen said, let's work with the kids that are here. It's unfortunate that COVID is around, and it's unfortunate that parents like myself, because my daughter is at home doing virtual, you know, we still don't feel it's safe enough to send our kids to school. I think that, you know, the county's doing a heck of a job and the district's doing a heck of a job in providing thousands of vaccines every week to our community and to the county. And I don't think that we're gonna have kids back in school until next year, or until we get about 95% of the people in Hidalgo County vaccinated. You know, that's when parents will feel safer, like myself. And I just think that we gotta respect their opinions and not push too hard to get them back, but they don't wanna be back, because I just think we just gotta respect what how our parents feel. And I just think that our district's doing a heck of a job in marketing and recruiting and talking and sending out messages. You can give them $1 million and they're still not gonna send their kid to school, they don't feel it's safe. And unfortunately, until we're about 95% of COVID vaccinated, everybody, and our kids and our schools are vaccinated, we're not gonna have them back. And I just wanna say that we just gotta respect how our parents feel and not put too much pressure, because that's just the way they feel. And nothing we do is gonna change their mind. But I think our teachers are doing a hell of a job in virtual and working with our kids and administration. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gonzalez?
And my information or my concern here is that I think we're doing above and beyond what we need to do. And yes, I respect that they're not coming. But the reality of this board is that we need to start facing the reality that our funding is going to go down. So
Yes,
when
ma'am.
we plan for next year, let's keep that in mind. And it's not anything that we didn't do, because we've done everything. It's just that the parent is not ready.
Now,
What was the budgeted number, Mr. President?
go ahead.
What was our budgeted number, Dr. Salinas? Mario, what was our budgeted number that we estimated going into this year? I know we're very conservative with our number.
Our average daily attendance?
No, you know how we estimate at I always ask that question because that's gonna, we always budget at a certain number. Do we know that number?
It was 32,000.
Ms. Garcia.
We budgeted.
Oh, 32,000?
Less than, I think we budgeted less than that, into the 30,000, not even 31,000.
Dr. Salinas, we budgeted 30,869.408.
Okay.
That's what we budgeted.
Well, one thing I'd like to add is that the light at the end of the tunnel is this. By April 16th, we would have vaccinated 100% of our seniors that want to be vaccinated. That's 2,000 individuals. That number will make the difference of individuals returning to school.
They're not in school right now.
Yes, and according to these records, what's showing that's coming into the high school are very, very low numbers. Very low numbers. EHS is 198. JEHS is 240. Edinburgh North, 191. Robert Vela, 151. We have a total, I mean, that's a 650 kids out of, how many are in high school? 10,000? So, because Edinburgh CISD is a registered distributor of the vaccine, and because of the partnerships that we've developed, by April 16th, we will have 100% of all seniors that want the vaccine. And when I mean all seniors, is now it's available, 18 up to 18, but we're doing one better. We're even gonna we have the availability to go ahead and vaccinate the 16 and up older individuals also. So that is encouraging news to hit the 21%. We're so close, but we need to be consistent. Now, 6 weeks starts April 19th. That is the first day of the 6 weeks. So we need to do everything we can. We need to hit every possible place to bring these children in. We're so close to the 21%. We're so close to the 21%. According to these numbers, on March 22nd, we were at 19%. On March 23rd, 20%. On March 24th, 21%. March 25th, 21%. And March 26th, 20%. So we're almost there. And if we all work together in all sides and attack it, I believe we'll be able to hit that number.
Right.
But I just want to thank God that we acted quickly on becoming a distributor of the vaccine, so we'll be able to administer those vaccines to all of our seniors, which should help out these numbers. So, but let's not all rest on that one. We all have to do our job and secure our funding. Other districts don't have those options. Other districts don't have the means, but Edinburgh CISD does, because us as a board work together. Our superintendent was very aggressive in making sure certain things happened, and now we have the availability to do that. So I do want to share that, that even though it's a challenge, it's one that we can meet if we all work together.
Most definitely.
And I appreciate all the work, and I know it isn't easy. And yes, I too, as the rest of the board shared, appreciate all the hard work.
So, Mr. President, just real quick, so what is the funding number for the last 6 weeks? How they're estimating that for the state of Texas?
If the state established a percent for every school district, if we consistently maintain 21% attendance on campus for the last 6 weeks, that average.
Based on what average? On the kids that we have enrolled in school?
Based on the students that are enrolled and attending on campus.
Right.
That last 6 weeks.
So we don't have to recruit kids?
It will be they will allow and they will apply the hold harmless. And
Okay. So what's there is where they want us to hit 21%?
Exactly. We have to have consistent over 21% on-campus attendance average for the last 6 weeks. That's the expectation.
That's the expectation from the state?
From the state, correct.
Okay, thanks.
And those are the numbers that Mr. Farias just reviewed with you, that we're very close to that.
Okay,
Now,
no, thank you.
we're tracking it for the 6 weeks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, like Mr. Farias said, there's 600 high school kids coming. And I know that because I've heard it a lot, like, a lot of parents are, because of Easter holiday coming up, and then it's a short May, and we're out already, so they're like, why bring them back, right? I mean, it's kind of some of the attitude, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're doing well asynchronous, and so, so what you're telling us is if they don't come, we're okay. If they decide to continue to stay at home, we're still okay as a district, as long as we hit the 21% of the parents that have already chosen to put them on campus.
As long as we have the consistent average, the same students attending daily on campus, and we hit that at 21%. We have to have
And what are we averaging right now?
that number that you're looking at right there, sir, is a snapshot of the students, I'm sorry, the number that is on that report that Mr. Farias was just reviewing, the 19-20%?
Yes, Dr. Moreno, Oscar, on March 22nd, we were at 19%.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then on March 23rd, we were at 20. On the 24th, we hit the 21%.
Okay.
The 25th, we hit the 21%. And on the 26th, we hit 20%. So we're very close to hit that number. And I really believe with all the efforts that we put into this, we'll be able to accomplish that. We just have to be consistent from April 19th till the end of the year.
Here's the only caveat to that, is it has to be the students who are consistently on campus.
Right,
That
that's
number,
what I'm asking.
that 19-20% that we're tracking right now, which is still a good number to track, is a snapshot for that date.
Which is the enrollment. Which is
Which
the enrollment of the
students who are participating,
Correct.
who are on
Enrolled.
campus for that day.
Right, enrolled.
Correct.
Correct. So also, I would like to say, Dr. Moreno, and Mr. President, if I may, that these numbers,
Oh, I got it.
the high total for the elementary, our elementaries are carrying this district. 30, 32, 33, 33, and 31, as compared to the middle at 13 and the high schools at 7. So a big shout out to our elementary principals, where they are bringing in the highest percent. So where is everybody else?
Students at the elementary are showing up to campus. You're correct.
Yes.
They're showing up.
Absolutely, for enrollment. So where is everybody else? Where's the recruitment for the middle and the high school? High school at 7, 8, 8, 8, and 8, out of a total enrollment of 2,000 at each high school? That is unacceptable with that percent,
I agree with you.
at that number,
There's
as
work to be.
compared to the membership.
Yes, ma'am. There's work to be done at the secondary level, high school. I think the point Mr. Farias made about having more high school students vaccinated
Correct.
will help increase those
We'll
numbers.
see the
And I
numbers.
know that the high school, it's just been real hard, being at the high school myself.
Yes, sir.
Those kids, they're more responsible, so parents are able to leave them by themselves more. So we're having a hard time as well, and trying to get high school kids on campus, just because their parents are more okay with them, leaving them at home and them going to work. And in saying that, Dr. Salinas, as parents are dropping off kids and they're trying to get their work, we're waiting, they're having to wait till 7:45 to get the kids out of their cars. Is there any way we can, as soon as they're there, that we can start letting those kids get off because they need to get to work? I mean, that's been a concern brought to me recently.
Yes, we can
Is there
look
any
at
way
that.
you can look at that?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. You've done.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Dr. Salinas, number 6, public comments.
Yes, sir, we have one. Isabel Martinez.
Very good.
Good evening, board and administrators, teachers, staff, and parents joining in. I'm here to speak about parent choice, which Javier Salinas just touched base on. He practically said everything I wanted to say. Thank you, sir. I'm here as a parent, a mom. I have a testing child. And I had a comment of 2 weeks ago, I heard a comment from a board member I voted for saying that our lower socioeconomic families should not be keeping their kids at home doing nothing. And there was a lot of shaming in that section of the meeting. Another board member had to clarify that statement and say that the students at home aren't doing nothing, they're distance learning. Now, this section is not to be confused with the earlier conversation. I understood from that conversation that there were several students not enrolled in ECISD and wanting to find them, verifying that they're at least somewhere. So, but we weren't talking about those students. The specific student parents that should have been ashamed to use their parent choice, keeping their kids at home, were our outskirts, lower socioeconomic families. And it's bothered me since, because I, along with many parents and staff members who spoke about this specific section of the meeting in the past 2 weeks, processed that as, if you're lower socioeconomic status, you should not have parent choice, and those students should be on campus, period. And shame on you that you're keeping them out of the classroom. This was said taking no regard to if they live in multi-generational homes, like grandparents living with them, or family with underlying conditions. Health issues affect our lower income families more. We're the ones who grow up without health care. Not going to the dentist, not going to the doctor, not going to the hospital, taking pain reliever for, multiple days of the week. I have health insurance now, but I didn't have health insurance in middle school until CHIPS came in. A random flyer from Bill Garza when I was in 7th grade gave me health care. I casually gave it to my parents, and they're really surprised I didn't throw it away, honestly. So yes, these parents do have the right to keep their kids at home. They know their situation best, and if you don't take the time to understand during this pandemic, then I can't really help you. They're not to be ashamed or to be called horrible because their kids are home. I don't appreciate that, and several parents and staff members, your constituents and the families you serve, who tuned in, picked up on that message. It's classist and to wish away a choice for those who make less. I understand you're wanting them to receive a top-notch education, but some of us are just trying to survive the year. On the same topic of parent choice and remote learning, This same parent choice needs to be respected when it comes to STAR. I received some untruths, and I've made several phone calls as a parent clarifying some of those untruths about my child. And if my child doesn't take the STAR as an elementary student going to middle school, our campus was told, several campus teachers and parents and students, that if we don't take the STAR, we'll lose our elective choice for next year. So several of us parents got to talking, and rewards and consequences go a long way. We know that TEA is not holding scores against students, it's not holding against the district, and so if students stay remote learners, they do not have to take the STAR test. TEA is already requesting the 95% participation waiver at the federal level because they're also anticipating that percentage not be met. But that doesn't matter to me necessarily as much as what's going to directly affect my child. So every middle school I called stated that they are not taking away electives from their own 7th and 8th grade students. So, and they don't plan on doing that for their incoming 6th graders. So I'm wondering why we were told this. Why was the threat of losing electives, losing athletics, being placed in remedial classes, why was that said to us? To increase the number of students testing at the elementary level. That's what I believe. So elementary participation can save our district because that's what was said at the last meeting also and hinted at a bit today too. So we should not get into the habit of twisting truths. Our parents trust us, I trust my child's counselors, and we're all wanting our students to have a great start next year. This year has been survival mode. Next year I hope it's somewhat normal and I'm hesitantly optimistic. But I hope this isn't a foreshadowing of our new superintendent and administrative direction, as it's the board's responsibility to hold administrators accountable and balanced as elected officials. There should not be any loopholes or shortcuts or untruths here. We need transparency and accountability, as I genuinely voted for every single one of you. We want no loopholes, no shortcuts, no lies, no compadres. We want by the book and high moral code and ethics, not by any means necessary, not by who you know, not by what's easiest. Item 8C, approval of resolution number 2021-14, something about our practices for employment. That looks like it's a big loophole. I'm anticipating, I don't know, but at any time, without any transparency or accountability to hire, it's definitely, I don't know. I don't know what that exactly is going to entail, but it just sounds like we want to bring some other people back into ECISD with significantly higher salary, but at the same time, we're denying the opportunity for current ECISD employees who are qualified to fill those positions from being allowed the opportunity for advancement. Just because they're experienced in the past doesn't mean they have to come back. We have staff right now ready to move into the future who also have experience and can fill that position. Yes, we'll have to fill those positions that they leave, yes, but it'll move our employees forward, push us to grow. And there are several teachers with principal certifications and higher ed degrees and principals who can fill these positions themselves. They've been waiting patiently, bidding their time with ECISD. They've more than earned a higher position. They've more than earned it. Just give them the opportunity for an interview. Don't just bring in a retiree hire at a higher salary. Give them a chance. So if you decide to not do that, you're saying no to all of them, our current employees, before they even get the chance. So thank you so much for your time, and that is all of my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, item 7, consent agenda. I would like to go ahead and consent the agenda of 7A through 7H, but I would like to pull out G for discussion.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Now to consent agenda 7G, approval of competitive seal proposals CSP 2070 motor oil and related items second contract year, cost $55,000. Did you have a question concerning that?
Yeah, I did. Have we, I lost my notes where I had it. Has the district worked with this vendor before, sir?
Which one
Mr.
specifically?
Barbosa, it's coming
Yes.
from your department, is it?
Which one specifically, Ms. Garcia?
On G, 7G?
Yes, ma'am. It's the second year. We look at all the products. They have to meet certain standards, what's called a J level for like motor oils and coolants and transmission fluids. And so we're very specific because our manufacturers, the Thomas Bus International, require a certain standard of oil and fluids and coolants and DEF fluids as well. And so we look our vendors, make sure that the product that they're selling meets these and exceeds the standard that's required so that we don't void our warranties. These vendors have provided the necessary qualifications and the quality of product, and we feel that they have a very good price as well, which is competitive for our taxpayers. And so we're very comfortable with these vendors.
Okay. So you would be working with all three for the different products?
That's correct, ma'am. We always get a price fix and make sure that we're getting the best price for the taxpayers of Edinburgh. And that meets standard as well.
Thank you.
So when you picked these three different individuals, did you go out for bid? And they came back on last year? Did you go out for bid for these specific item descriptions that you have here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We had some vendors that we had in the past that no longer bid. I guess maybe they weren't able to. But these vendors have continued to provide a good quality product that meets and exceeds the standards that are required for the different types of vehicles that we have in our fleet. From a Gator, a small green Gator that's let's say a John Deere, all the way to international engines in our buses, as well as Cummins turbo diesels, et cetera.
And was there more than one bid submitted for these different products?
I believe so. I believe the vendors.
There was, sir, there was 12 submittals.
There was
12
what, sir?
submittals from
12
different
submittals.
vendors.
Oh,
yes.
there was 12 submittals.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good.
Yes, sir. 12 submittals.
Okay.
And they were evaluated properly by transportation, like Mr. Barbosa said, on the type of oil or type of liquid being utilized for those engines.
Very good.
Mhm.
Now, the approximate amount spent last year and the estimated amount recommended this year, just so the public would know, last year was 25,000, this year is 55,000. What attributes to that?
We put money in there to make sure that we don't ever run short, but I don't anticipate using that much more, sir. Our vehicles are very, very efficient, and so, but we want to make sure that we're doing our proper PM so that we don't come to you for engines as opposed to just replacing fluids. But we're very stringent on the type of fluids that we put in our vehicles. We want to maximize the ability because of the warranties. We want to make sure that we don't ever void a warranty. And to be very specific, sir, different types of engine require different types of oils and different coolants and different, like the red, the green, the clear, the orange. And so we have to be very, very specific on the types of fluids that we put in. And not every vendor will carry the fluid and that meets the manufacturer's specifications. So as you mentioned before, we'll buy from the vendor that meets and exceeds those specifications to make sure that we have all our vehicles up to par when we do our PMs.
You know, the other thing is that I know whenever a warranty comes in question, the first thing they look is the color of the fluid.
Correct.
And if the color of the fluid doesn't match according to the warranty, then they won't warrant it because you didn't follow the specifics.
You're absolutely 100% correct. So the first thing they ask was what kind of coolant you put in. Let's see the specifications. We want to make sure that what you put in met our specification or exceeded it.
The other thing, do you believe that it would attribute to last year we had minimal use of our buses?
Correct.
And so we must, that's why we spent 25,000. But we're hoping that this coming up year, we'll be able to go ahead and open our schools. And then I guess you're guesstimating that we'll be using them quite a bit more. That's why it's 55,000.
Correct. We use a software called Fleet Vision, sir, that tracks and monitors through GPS the mileage on every vehicle. And so we're able to know exactly when we need to change the oil and the fluids, aside from the fact that we do it annually as well. But we make sure that we change the oil exactly to the manufacturer specifications, and it prints out a report and lets us know when it's time to replace those fluids.
Very good. Any other
Mr.
discussion
President, I
or
have a
question?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Salinas, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Barbosa, anytime, and I know Dr. Salinas is there listening, Mario, anything we go over 50,000, we gotta go for bid, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so anytime we see an item here in the agenda over 50,000, that means that you guys have to have gone out for bids.
And this
That's
is what
correct.
we did here, sir.
That's correct.
Okay, okay, just wanna make sure that we're following that practice because, you know, no one can, I mean, anything over 50 needs to have a bid.
Yes, sir.
And it has to have 3 prices, not just one,
No, sir.
unless only one bids, but let's make sure that we're always following the protocols because the superintendent doesn't have no more authority than 50,000 and not, he'll get into trouble because of you guys.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you.
So
Thank you,
these,
Mr. Salinas.
so
Any
those,
further
so
questions?
these companies we've used before, right?
Yes, yes,
We have a
sir.
history with these 3 companies.
That's correct, sir. That's correct.
I make a motion to approve this item.
Second? All those in favor? Are those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, going to, number 8, action agenda A, approval of 2020-21 budget amendments for general funds and construction funds, cost $1.130,000.
So move.
There is a second?
Second, I do have a question.
And discussion. Yes, Ms. Gonzalez.
What are these amounts for? Is that for the overage on the, on what we're approving, the gates?
Could you give us a detail of the specific 950 and the 180, please?
We will budget on the side.
Sir, the 950 is for the secure gate entrances.
Okay.
That we talked about at the facilities meeting that we're needing to cover the expenses.
Okay,
And the 180,000 is for the renovation, the continuing to renovate the portables.
the portables.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how much further do we have on renovating the portables? Can somebody give us a report on where we are with that? How many we have left? And how much money have we spent?
What about the new ones
That's
that were
good.
parked over there?
That's another question.
That's another question, but
But we'll answer that one too.
yeah, after you're done.
Go ahead.
All right, good evening. We do have 24 portables that we've completed up to date. We did use last year, or the previous year, the 2019-2020 school year, we received $750,000 to renovate these portables.
I'm sorry, sir. 24 portables.
24
And-
portables.
And how much money was spent on the 24 portables?
750.
750, okay, thank you.
And the remaining, so we're averaging about 30,000, give or take. Some are 20-some, some are a little bit more than 30, depending on the condition of the portable. So we're averaging about 30,000 per portable. So this 180 will help us renovate 6 more portables to finish off this fiscal year. So that'll give us about 30 portables that will complete by the end of this year.
So what is the amount if we would have to go out and buy a portable?
It ranges depending on the need of the type of classroom it is, but it ranges from roughly $80,000 to $120,000, depending on what. And sometimes what we'll do is buy a plain one and we finish it off for a computer lab or whatever the teacher needs. We do the cubbies, desk, or as far as the little computer table, different things like that. We just order the base unit. Now,
So let's say it's $100,000 for each portable. What does it cost us to move the portable?
it costs roughly, and I can't remember what the bid is right now, but let's say about $7,000 just to move alone. Then you have to, we do aluminum ramps now, which aluminum ramps run about $5,000. Then depending on where we put it, it depends on if it has power or availability of power. If not, we have to bring in power. get the easements together, bring in the power to the portable. Then we have to add the sidewalks as well. So there is a cost of roughly maybe 20,000 in addition to the portable itself.
$20,000.
20,000, yes.
So basically, on the 30 portables, if we would buy them new, it would be a $3 million expense.
I haven't calculated, but yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you're asking for 180,000 more, which would come out to 930,000 altogether to renovate 30 portables.
Correct.
So that's a significant savings of us actually going out and purchasing the portables. That doesn't include the moving of the portables and everything else that comes with it.
Correct.
So right off the bat, it's a 66% savings of not having to go out and purchase the portables. And also, it was a good usage of our workforce while the children weren't in school, and we could have done it conveniently.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And it gave many of our employees the opportunity to work overtime
Yes,
in the portables.
yes. I know there for a while, we were pushing you to get the portables done, and, great job, great job. So a $930,000 investment, and we saved over $2 million. And we have portables, and we've gone and done the tours of the portables. They're very nice, updated. You just didn't slap on paint. You actually went in there, and some of the floors are reinforced, and how much more life expectancy can we expect out of these portables?
I would say, because just based off historical data, we haven't really renovated these portables, and some of them have been 20 years. So I'm saying at least 15 years.
Very
And
good.
what we can do, we have right now pending after this fiscal year, we'll have about 50 portables pending. And we estimate about 2.5 years to complete those. Once we're done with that, there are 22 others that currently aren't that old, but they're getting they'll be 20 years in about 5 years, 6 years. And we can start the cycle as needed again. And after that, we can phase it in so that it's not a whole lot of portables and in 1 year. We'll phase it in, break it down, and look at doing a few every year and just keep up with them at that time.
Very good. I just wanted to point that out so the public would know that we're using our money wisely and getting more life out of portables instead of just going and purchasing some. Now, Ms. Garcia had a question. Do we still have those 4 portables at the bus barn?
There are 2 portables there.
There's 2 portables there. Now, I know we purchased 6 to begin with, right?
Okay, I need to check back. I think it was 4, but I can check to see. But we have 1 portable at Escandon and 1 at Vela and 2 left over here.
Okay.
But I can check to see if there's another 2 additional.
How long have those portables been sitting there?
I believe they might have maybe 6 months. I'm not sure.
No,
I need to
we
check.
got them right
It's been a
before the
year.
pandemic, right before the pandemic.
Right
hit.
before the pandemic.
About a year?
It's been over a
Okay.
year.
And how much was spent on those portables?
And was it 4 or 6?
I don't recall, sir. It may have been 4, may have been 6, I don't remember.
Okay.
Do you recall how much
Yes,
was spent?
I think we spent
Right under $500,000.
438,000, something like that for them.
And were they new ones?
Brand
Oh,
new.
yes,
Yeah, brand new.
brand new ones.
And we're gonna put them somewhere when school starts, right?
Yes, sir.
And what are we waiting for?
Excuse me, sir?
What are we waiting for? What's gonna be
The reason we're waiting, sir, is
just so that people know, why are we
the
making,
reason we moved 2 because we know that at Robert Vela, because of the addition of the academic program, we needed to hire staff, so there are no more rooms at Robert Vela. It is utilized over 90%, so we added a portable with 2 classrooms, so we knew that. Escandon is rapidly growing. We have students that are, it's just a growing school. And the same thing there, that we don't have enough room for all the teachers there, so we put a portable there. We have 2 more left, and we anticipate growth in some of our schools, sir, as soon as we start bringing back children when the pandemic goes away, and it will one of these days. We anticipate growth, but we don't want to move the portable until we know for sure, because as you heard, it costs $7,000 or $8,000 to move them, and we'd hate to move them, and then the students don't materialize, and we have to move them again.
We didn't put one at Harwell.
I believe we did.
We did. I believe we put 1 or 2, maybe even 2.
I think that's where the 6, the
The
2,
6 are.
aren't they sitting in
Yeah.
we moved to Harwell?
Yes.
They went straight there, the company
Yes,
put them
I
there?
think we put 2 of them there.
Yeah, okay.
That's
So that's
why-
the 6, right?
That's why I was
the
questioning
2 are
the 6.
Harwell, you
So there
know.
was a total of 6
I think so.
that were purchased.
You're right, and we dropped, before
thought
they,
we had
we just
Harwell.
moved, when they came in from Houston, they just dropped them off there.
They were bought in Houston?
Yes, in the Houston area.
Now,
Yeah.
these portables were bought directly from the distributor, correct?
Correct.
We didn't go through a middle person or
No.
anything of that nature.
And who was the vendor?
I can't remember the vendor right now. There was, it might be Ramtech
No, it was Palomar.
or Palomar. Those are the 2 vendors that we've dealt with.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. 8B, approval of affiliation agreement for clinical rotations between Edinburgh Consolidated Independent School District and Walgreens Pharmacy.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. 8C, approval resolution number 2021 pursuant to board policy DC local employment practices. Dr. Salinas.
Mr. Farias, may I address?
Sure.
I have
We
5
need a
minutes, please,
motion.
before we
Well-
go on to this item, or
well,
does he talk first?
Well, we need a motion and a second and then discussion.
All right, I would like to motion for a discussion, please.
Okay. A second discussion?
Yes. Thank you. And I would just like about 5 minutes. I'm sure that Dr. Salinas is going to present this, and I too am in support of the superintendent getting his own team. But I also am in support and know our people within ECISD, our ECISD, our district, our house. We have top quality people who can lead, mentor, and exemplify true quality leadership, just like you, Dr. Salinas. Our ECISD people are doing a phenomenal job. I should know, as I too was part of the success here at ECISD. An A district in academics, A+ in finance, superintendent of the year, school board of the year, 171 distinctions on STAR, 11 perfect distinctions, 9 elementary perfect distinctions, 1 middle school perfect distinction, 1 high school perfect distinction, 159 academic advanced placement scholars at the high school, 2 years in a row post-secondary readiness distinctions, 6 blue ribbon schools, and here tonight, 17 honor roll schools, the most in South Texas. And yes, we all want loyalty, trust, and respect. That is where you, Dr. Salinas, can cultivate, motivate, and ignite that in your ECISD team. Yes, we all have weaknesses and strengths. We all know that because we're human. Como los dedos de la mano, pero es tu mano, la derecha y la izquierda. But I also know that as a community, we must look from within, value from within, and trust and develop from within. As you already know, there are many of our ECISD staff that have been waiting, hoping, and praying for an ECISD opportunity. Please do not take that opportunity away from our present staff, because at the end of the day, we are all family at ECISD. All of us here are a product of ECISD, and we all proudly and fully support, especially our ECISD family members. Thank you, Board President.
You're very welcome.
And, I do support also our staff as well, and looking at what's best for our school district as well.
Very good, sir.
And I know Dr. Salinas needs his people, and we're willing to work with him on that as well. But I do support our staff as well.
Yes, sir. I mean,
Can I comment, sir?
well, first,
Okay.
I'd like to reiterate what Ms. Vela and Mr. Salinas said. Yes, we have wonderful staff. I mean, the fruits of your hard labor is evident, as Ms. Minga pointed out. And this in no way is saying that we don't have a good staff. We have a wonderful staff. The only thing is that, as a superintendent, I support, we all unanimously voted for Dr. Salinas in this position. And we all agreed that he was the individual to take this position and this big responsibility. And basically, at the bottom line is that there's tough decisions that have to be made. And he is in the position to make those decisions. As a board president, I'm always here to support Dr. Salinas. Now, that doesn't mean that I give him a free ride and never question his actions, because I do. I question his actions all the time. But I do afford him the responsibility and the authority to make decisions, but I also hold him accountable for those decisions. Because if it doesn't work out, there's only one person to blame, and that's the guy at the top. But yet, at the same time, when all the awards come in and everybody's happy and everything, he's also the guy at the top. Either way, it's a very tough position to be in, but it's one that we all unanimously voted him in for this position, and I have full faith and trust in our superintendent to make the right decisions to continue bringing our school forward, and especially during these hard times. So I just wanted to point that out. Dr. Salinas, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dominguez Vela, everything you said is true. You and I have been colleagues all my career, all my professional career. I've known you. I've known your husband. Your children went to Edinburgh North as one of the principal there. What you said is absolutely true. I agree. Now, my allegiance, my number one allegiance as my role as superintendent is to the children and the parents. And that is it. Not to any individual being. My allegiance is to the students of Edinburgh CISD, period. When in this resolution, there's a couple of items there. Number one, in my quest to do the very best I can for the students of this district, I think that we need to look for the most qualified individuals out there. The most qualified, not who I know, and there are people I know, but they may not be. In fact, I know quite a bit of employees of this school district. They may not be the employees that I seek for a particular position. So that said, the larger the pool of qualified applicants, in my opinion, the higher the degree of the quality of the pool. Therefore, enabling me as a superintendent to make it easier for me to hire the most qualified individual that I can find. I owe it to the students of this school district to find the most qualified individual for the school district. If I fail in doing that, I fail as a superintendent, and I'm out of here, period. If I don't do a good job of selecting staff, that's the reflection on me. It's a very big part of my job, finding qualified individuals and putting them in positions to positively impact the staff and thereby impact the children. If I fail in that, I fail as a superintendent, period. That was one of the goals of this resolution. Find as many qualified applicants for the pool that you can find, thereby improving the quality of the pool. That's one. Number two, the resolution says all staff, but really it's, what I'm looking for is just my immediate cabinet, which requires highly specialized skill set in dealing with 5,000 employees and 32,000 students and their parents. Highly specialized skill set. I need to be able to try to attract the most qualified individuals to apply for these jobs. There are difficult, complicated jobs. The other thing on this resolution, it indicates that it runs through December, and I do want to say it is long. I don't seek that. I just seek enough time to find my immediate cabinet. If it takes a week or 2 weeks or a month, then so be it. That is all I seek. I don't seek 9 months or 6 months for that matter. It may take me, some I probably can hire right away. Some may take longer because the skill set is harder to find. If we have incumbent employees that work for the district that through the interview process has the skill set, he or she, then we will go with that. My reputation rides on it. That's what I have to say about that.
So, sir, it does say here December 17th. How much time would you say that you would need to go ahead and accomplish what you need to accomplish?
I don't think it should take me that long, sir. Not even close.
2 months?
I may be able to hire everybody by April, but one of these positions or you know, they may be harder to find, but it's not going to take me more than a month and a half, I don't think. Only for my cabinet, not for any other employee.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that we could change December 17th to May 15th?
That should give me.
Total of 45 days?
That, I think, is more than enough time for me to look and interview and employ.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And I, for one, have been around a long time. I've seen a lot of growth in this district. And I think we don't need a resolution to allow the superintendent to do the right thing. There's enough policies in place that will give him that opportunity. Therefore, this resolution that initially started with December the 17th is totally unnecessary. Dr. Salinas knows exactly what he wants, and he should get what he feels that he needs, and it's not going to take him 9 months. So therefore, a resolution, in my opinion, is not necessary. He needs to also be conscious of the fact that we, the board, have to be considered as a team of 8 for all major decisions, and certainly the leadership at the top to help the superintendent move the district forward should not exclude the board. That's my opinion.
Well, and I appreciate your comment, but at the same time, I would just like to have the assurance that Dr. Salinas gets the individuals that he needs, because he is going to be held responsible for either the success or the failure of this district. And, you know, to ask for May the 15th, which is a period of 45 days, to make sure that he gets who he needs to get. And not only that, but we don't have to wait for a board meeting for it to be approved. In other words, if he wants to make the decisions, he's gonna go through the proper process, legal processes, and doesn't have to wait to come to the board, but go ahead and get the individuals he wants. And because time is ticking, and time is of the essence. There's a lot of things going on in this district, and you're all aware of it. And basically, it's him and one other superintendent handling these critical decisions right now, and he needs the critical help to make it happen. And I don't want to handicap him by waiting for a board meeting for him to get approval to get the individuals that he needs to go forward. That's my take on this, and doing a May 15th, it's a 45 days where he can make his decisions and not have to wait for us as a board to approve. It isn't a question of approving, it's the time that it takes to get these issues done. That's my point of view.
Mr. President, I have a question, I have a comment.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, being a superintendent myself, I totally agree that Dr. Salinas should hire his team. The big problem I have with this resolution, I don't agree with any retire, rehire at all, because we're not a retire, rehire district. The retire, rehire process that happened many, many moons ago was only for math and science teachers, not for upper level administration. So I do not agree at all with the retire, rehire component in this resolution. I totally agree that Dr. Salinas should hire his cabinet, and he should select from the best candidates in Edinburgh ISD or anywhere else he chooses, as long as they're current practitioners, not retire rehires. Because that just will open a huge can of worms, because that system for a big 6A like ECISD is non-existent. It's not existent for, I don't think, any big 6As. The smaller 1A, 2A, 3As, they have issues in hiring people, so they might do that process. But for a district so big as ECISD, there ain't no reason for us to do any type of retire or rehire. But he does need to choose his best candidates. And I'm sure that the board will support his best candidates that are out there in the marketplace, you know, as fast as he can get them done. But that's the biggest problem I have with this item, is the retire rehire component. I don't agree with it at all. There's too many good people out there that are capable of doing a great job, that are not retire rehires, are current practitioners that are current with the laws, current with whatever's going on, whether in curriculum or finance or anything else. So that's my biggest problem, is I do not agree at all with the retire rehire component of this policy.
Well,
Mr. President, can I say something?
Well, hold on, excuse me. Just for the information, currently ECISD has 67 retired hires, employed. Out of those 67, 10 of them are bus drivers. And that's the exclusion that we have in our policy currently as it stands. It applies to everyone except bus drivers. The other thing is that we also have in our policy, because I know that it has been brought up, of the additional money that it costs the district to employ an individual that's been retired and we rehire them. Or our school policy also states, and I checked with legal, that there is a policy that if an individual accepts a position in this district, and the only way that they would be hired is if they agree that difference of compensation the school has to pay is paid out of their paycheck. It's no additional cost to the taxpayer. And that's something that was implemented. Well, Mr. O'Hanlon, could you explain that?
Yes, I brought a copy to the policy. I thought this might come up.
and I understand that, Mr. Farias, and I know all those policies. I'm just saying, there's so many good people out there that we don't have to go to retire, rehire around. You know, that's just my opinion, you know, I would never personally hire a retire, rehire as a superintendent, because there's just so many good people out there that are ready to move up, or have been, in the on-deck circle waiting to get into the game. And there's just so many people here in Edinburgh, Region 1, South Texas, all of Texas. So that's just the way it is, but I know the policy, so thank you.
And what message are we sending to our employees that, you know, you're working here, you're giving all your life here, you're a hard worker, you're dedicated, but you're not good enough, so we have to go out and look for a retired person. I too will not support the rehire.
Go ahead, Mr.
Mr. President, I'd like to say something.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
And this actually goes out to you, Javi, Coach Oscar, Ms. Vela, Mr. Farias, Ms. Garcia, and Mrs. Gonzalez, and to Mr. Robert Peña Jr., if you're listening in. Where was this retire, rehire stoppage when we brought back Mr. Gilbert Garza as an interim superintendent 2 years ago? Not only that, he did not have his certification to be a superintendent 2 years ago. So with your leadership, Mrs. Gonzalez, along with Mr. Robert Peña Jr., what did you end up doing? You promoted, without board approval, an assistant superintendent as a deputy superintendent, paid them an excess amount of money so that way the district could run. So where was the transparency then? That's my question to this board. I may be new, but I know what is right, and I know that we have the right man here to do the job, and I agree, and I fully back him up in wanting to pick his administration. But my question is to you six. 2 years ago, you had a chance to do the right thing, and you didn't. Politics aside, we are here now. We are a new ECISD. We are moving forward, and I back up Dr. Salinas in picking his own administration. So I don't know where you all stand, but whoever he feels is the best to help him run his cabinet, we need to support him on that.
If I may.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I just want to say, as board members, we should not be here micromanaging this. We were all in support, 6-1 for Mario, Dr. Salinas, when we said, let's get him to be our superintendent. Why? Because we trust him, and that's why we hired him, and we know he's gonna do a great job. And again, if whomever he decides to get, and they fail, well, he fails along with him, and he knows that. And everyone knows that any new administration, he will pick his own administration. And right now, we're holding him back as to whomever he wants to hire to bring in as his cabinet. And as board members, here we are dictating again. And it seems to keep coming and going, and it never leaves. It's just here. It's dictating. A new year, let's keep dictating. Another year, let's keep dictating. This needs to stop. And it's like Mr. Alamia said, when we hired Mr. Garza, he did a great job. But he was a retire-rehire. Where was that? It didn't come to mind, Ms. Gonzalez, knowing that he was a retire-rehire? But back then, it didn't matter because it was to the convenience.
Well, I want to go on the record too, that I did say that we should move forward when I was the president, okay? And we decided to hold on as a whole board. We all decided that in the board that was standing, that we would wait till November, and then we would open that job up. Right or wrong?
Yes, but it was gonna be for a period of 2 to 3 months, ended up being a year and 7
Right.
months.
But I'm gonna remind you again, because when he first got in, I said, let's start the process. I did say that. Let's start, when I wasn't even on it, let's start the process, at least let legal start making the process. And we said at that time, we just were not ready for that, and that we wanted Mr. Garza to come in because we wanted somebody that could, that knew the district, and that was the process. So we can sit here and point fingers at everybody, but at the end of the day, that's the decision that we all made as a board, to hold him accountable of being the superintendent at the time, So I just want to, because I know my situation is, I want to have Dr. Salinas get what he needs as well. I'm more at, this resolution has a lot of holes in it. The months there, obviously, right off the bat. And as well, it has also it doesn't specifically say his two top people or his cabinet. It says all personnel, right?
Then let's amend it, so it says that.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, but, there are some other things too, is that, when you're looking at the retiree hire situation is, we also have to think about, we should be, he needs to bring it to us to see who those people are at least. Don't you think? I mean, shouldn't we have the ability as a board to look at what he's bringing in, and because that is part of our role as board members.
Our role as board members is to hire and fire the superintendent, maintain board policy.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong on that. You're wrong because
We
then
had
why would we?
We had a presentation from Region 1 that explained that to us, Mr. Salinas.
Well, then why do we go through personnel then? Then why do we vote on personnel? You know what I'm saying? It's part of the process.
That's a good question.
Right,
Why do
I
we
mean, you know
vote
what I'm
on
saying?
personnel?
It's part of the process.
Well-
We've only given the authority for teachers. We've never given a superintendent to hire outside of teachers. That's always been the practice here.
Yes, but
You
this
know?
is an important position that we're gonna hold him accountable, and yet we're gonna go ahead and let him know who he can and can't hire? I mean, are we gonna go ahead as a board and dictate to him and tell him, no, you're only limited to these individuals, you're only limited to this, and at the end of the day, we have to approve it? I'll be the first to say, this board has way too much authority and power, way too much. And all that this is trying to do is pull us out of the process so he can make his decision and pick his cabinet. That's it. Now, the date is very extensive. That can easily be changed. The other stipulation of his cabinet or administration, we can change it to that, but at least give him the liberty to go ahead and pick his administration and his staff. That's all that he's asking. That's all that he's asking. And as a board, I know we should support him in this decision. And I'm just telling everybody that whatever decision he makes, we're gonna hold him accountable. But it's like us getting involved and telling a principal, okay, I know you need an assistant, but you need to work with this one. Why even go through the rankings? Why even go through the interviews? Why even do anything like that? If we're gonna dictate and say, no, you're gonna work with this one, and then hold that principal accountable if her school fails because we got involved and we dictated on who she or he needed to hire, that's not fair to the principal. The same thing with our superintendent. It will not be fair to him if we get in the way of him picking his cabinet. And then it not working out because we limited him. I'm only one vote. I may be president, but I'm only one vote. And that's my point of view concerning this issue. I just want to give him, our superintendent, the authority to hire who he needs to hire without the board having any kind of influence whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, there's only one person we're going to hold accountable, and that's Dr. Salinas.
Coach, you're an athletic coordinator at La Feria, correct?
Director.
Director, I apologize. You were given the opportunity to choose your offensive coordinator and your
No, I
defensive
wasn't. I was told that I had to stay with the staff that I had, and I had to work with them, and I did it.
Now, if you were given the advantage of picking your OC and your DC, would you have been obliged and happy that you had that opportunity?
Yeah.
So why
but
can't we
I-
do the same thing for Dr. Salinas and let him pick his OC and his DC?
Because we have to make that, we have to be a part of it as well. We're a team, like I said, all of us are a team. We have to all be a part of this.
Well, we picked him so that way he could, because we
I
trusted
understand
him.
who we picked. I am a big supporter of it,
Mhm.
okay? So
So
don't,
you should trust in
don't,
his judgment.
I do trust, but I also want to be a part of it. Okay, I do trust him, but I want to be a part of it like we do every other decision that we make in this board. Doctor knows that I'm a big supporter of it. Right, Doc?
Yes, sir, you are.
This is not about Dr. Salinas at all. Not at all. This is about the, what I feel, the process I'm in the process. That's what I feel right now. And I'm only, like I said, one vote, one decision.
Very good then. Discussion has been done. Even though the changes are made of his cabinet in May 15th, as a matter of fact, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and change the date from December 17th to May 15th, a period of approximately 45 days. And also like to make the motion to go ahead and it read, his administrative staff, instead of it read, contractual and non-contractual personnel.
Could I ask you to define administrative a little better? Central office or all administrative?
No, central office. That's my motion.
That would be an amendment.
Amendment, yes, that would be an amendment to the contract to specifically say, change the date from December 17th to May 15th. And also change it to administrative central office only. And those are the two. Now, there was some concerns about retiree hire, but I would not want to limit him of excluding those individuals in his choice. So, Mr. O'Hanlon, I make the motion with those amendments.
It would be, well, I need a second on the amendment.
Second.
Okay, now the vote is on the amendment, which is what Mr. Farias said.
Yes.
Which is the resolution in front of you with a restriction to central office administrators and a termination date of the resolution of May 15th, 2021.
Yes, only till May 15th, which is approximately 45 days, which I believe is ample time for him to do the interviews and do his search for his cabinet and his staff in Central.
The vote is on the amendment. If it passes, then we'll have to vote on the main motion, which would be to adopt the resolution as amended.
So
the first vote is whether to accept your amendment.
okay, the vote is to accept my amendment to the contract of the changes that Mr. O'Hanlon went ahead and presented to you. That's the motion, right?
Yes.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion does not carry.
Pardon me?
Motion does not carry.
All right. Now
For
we're
the
back to the
record,
main motion, which is to adopt the resolution unamended.
okay, now I'll make the motion to approve the amendment as presented without the changes. Do I hear a second?
It's been seconded.
It's been seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, for the record, on both motions, myself along with Letty Garcia and Louis Alamia voted for, and those that voted against were the remaining 4 board members, which is Carmen Gonzalez, Oscar Salinas, Javier Salinas, and Dominga Vela.
Mr. President, I'd like to address something to the public regarding this item.
Go ahead, sir.
As we all know, that I prepared a statement, and the reason is because this item was such a hot topic. Unfortunately, it was shared on social media over the weekend prior to the board convening here today by a senior board member that's sitting here on the boardroom, and I just want to address this to everybody before. As everyone is well informed, what we discuss as a board, especially in executive session, is strictly to remain confidential within the board committee. After seeing a part of our board packet that was displayed on social media by a Facebook page that has demoralized myself and other elected officials within Hidalgo County, I need to address this in open session because this involves us, ECISD, directly. I do not condone nor will I allow this behavior to keep on going. There is a senior board member serving on the ECISD board who openly admitted to me that the ECISD board packet that was shared by the truth tellers of RGV was her board packet. Understanding this information makes me feel very uncomfortable and also requires me to inform the public that we are not here for the amusement of this Facebook page or other entities that try to demoralize our families, our administration, or us as individuals. I don't feel it is in the best interest for this board to go into the executive session with this senior board member present. I, for one, will not allow my hard work and ethical oath to be compromised in any way. As a voter and taxpayer, we all have an opinion on decisions made within our municipalities that impact us directly. However, coming from an elected official, that is something I won't allow to happen. I ask that we, as a board here, address this concern right now before going into executive session, because I, for one, will not allow this senior board member to continue to share false information with this Facebook page who has attacked myself, my family, my deceased father, and my 3-year-old little girl, or anyone from our administration. What this senior board member refuses to see is that this Facebook page is making a mockery of our beloved ECISD and is now openly providing fuel to this unnecessary fire. Thank you.
And Mr. President, may I address the board?
Of course, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, I am the senior board member that is being addressed here tonight. And I can assure you that those of you that know me know how I have operated for the past 50 years in education and 15 as a board member. And I can assure you that I did not provide the information being talked about to any block. Those of you that know me know that I'm one of the few board members that when she gets this packet, spends hours looking at the agenda items, and any items of interest to the community, I will call the community, let them know this item is coming up, it's going to be discussed Tuesday, or I make a copy of it and send it. This is, once I get the packet, the agenda packet in my house, it becomes public information. And we're talking about being transparent. There's nothing wrong with sharing with your community what is being discussed Tuesday. This is not executive session. I know and have respected executive session all of my life. So, yes, I will go into executive session as long as I'm a board member sitting here. I represent this community, and I will follow the rules of being a board member. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. 8D, approval of resolution number 2021-15, granting additional employee compensation for in-person work performance at COVID-19 vaccination clinics for RNs and LVN
So move.
nurses.
So move.
Second, any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
I do
Yes.
too.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez
She can go
first.
first.
While I totally agree that the nursing staff has been just beyond positive for this school district. But it was a team effort of many people involved. And I would like to ask the administration, Dr. Salinas, to consider the other team members, and not at this rate, but at whatever rate you feel appropriate, because we have a lot of custodians, a lot of secretarial staff, a lot of policemen, and probably other staff that I may not be aware of, certainly the staff from Vela, that put a lot of extra time and effort to run the smooth clinics that we ran. So I would like for you to consider, you know, a little stipend of some sort to also make them feel good about all the extra time that they have spent doing this effort at the clinic. And that's part of the success. It's called a team effort.
Yes, ma'am, I agree. We will do that.
And then also, just to let you know, Ms. Gonzalez, this was one of the first steps in addressing the teamwork, and those discussions have been had on how to go ahead and do that. The reason why we elected to do or bring this to the board first was because it was all nurses. The other staff, you have a wide range of administrators, custodial, police department, and a lot of other in-betweens. And that will definitely be addressed, but we just wanted to start somewhere.
Okay, good.
Very good, thank you.
Mr.
Any- Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Farias, and I too would like to say that the in-betweens, because
Yes.
it's the in-betweens that get us to where we're getting. And so
Yes.
we've had a lot of people, you know, please go and pitch in, and a lot of secretaries. And I went to see it, and our phenomenal police department, our security, our nurses, Dr. Garza, I saw him there, and everyone. It was such a beautiful, beautiful event. And I think that if we can, Dr. Salinas, we can compensate them a little bit. And right now, you know, with Easter coming, everyone needs to make a little bit of expense to buy those chocolate rabbits.
Yes,
So the magic question is, what is the first thing you eat from the chocolate rabbit? Who knows the answer?
The ears, of course.
Absolutely, you get one. So, thank you so much.
Okay.
And to add with that, Mr. Farias, well, for Dr. Salinas, we just need to make sure that no one is left out, sir. No one is left out. When we passed the last, I don't know if it was this past meeting or the meeting before, where we said we were gonna pay everyone that was working as they were here. Okay, well, it's been brought to my attention that there was a couple of departments that their staff was told that they were not gonna be receiving that money, and they have not received it as of yet, but I will give you that information, once we're in executive.
Yes, and that was brought to my attention
So
also.
it's important that everyone is noted on there, and they do get it, and not to be told otherwise that they can't.
And compensated, especially also the time during the freeze when it was like really bad.
Yes.
I think that's some of the things that we need to discuss.
That's
I know
another
that
big one
it's
here.
been shared with us, that during the freeze, there was some extra work done. And so if we can compensate them, I think that we should try. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much, President.
Yes, sir. And also,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to share a story. I think it was Dr. Garza, was it the last time we were handing out bracelets, or the day before, where several people came back and brought back the officers donuts and coffee?
Yes, is Chief Perez here? I don't see him.
No, Chief's not here.
Yes, the last time he passed out 1,750 wristbands at the stadium, and he told us that he had several people come back with coffee and 5 packs of donuts, and that was the best day they had had. So great job. The police officers do deserve a little something, and Dr. Salinas, we'll work on a resolution for the next board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
For all of the people helping.
And, you know, I just wanted to share that story because we always hear the negative things that go on, but they actually took their time to go and purchase donuts and come back and give it to the police officers. I mean, the gratitude and the appreciation, and I'm so glad because those little acts of kindness go a long, long, long way. So I just wanted to share that the success is a team effort. And yes, definitely, this is a place to start. And talks are already on how we're gonna distribute or look at how to compensate the other departments. And most importantly, we just gotta make sure we don't miss anybody.
Yep.
And that whatever we say, we come through.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other comments? All those in favor? All those opposed, motion carries. E, approval or authorize administration superintendent, insurance consultant to develop and present to the board possible amendments to the district's employee health benefits plan to include bariatric treatment and related or similar
So moved.
services.
Mr. President, I need to abstain from this item.
Okay,
Second,
second. Any questions?
just clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
This is an item that has been discussed for many years. So I'm glad that we're giving them the opportunity to come back and give us the whole picture, because we used to just, we come and present, and then we never brought it back for reality. This is something that this district has talked about for many years, and hopefully this year we can finish and set some rules and regulations that will allow us to at least start with. We know that this is a self-funded insurance, and we just reviewed the balance, so, but once we see the cost and how many people we can benefit, I think it's something that we need to consider.
This is the beginning of going forward with this, and there is some questions that have to be answered on how we're gonna implement it, but basically, we're approving to go forward and see on how we can implement it.
And
in
a
our
big
insurance.
thank you to Dr. Martinez, Dr. Michael Martinez, the former Bobcat football players, I had to say that, DHR, and our insurance committee, Mr. Alamia, the head of the insurance committee, for doing that presentation, and again, bringing it to us again, as Ms. Gonzalez says, it's been brought before us, but now we had a little bit more time to consider it. And thank you to the committee and DHR for
Yes,
their
and I
work.
also like to thank, we've had several visits and meetings along with Dr. Ambrosio. I'm sorry, Ambrosio, that's your first name, but everybody knows you as Dr. Ambrosio. I apologize. If I would say your last name, they would say, who is that? But it's a long time coming. And we're excited to see how we can offer this benefit to our employees for quality of life, and at the same time, savings in their own fund balance for insurance. And as you can see, the cost went up from one year to another as it was presented to us. So we're hoping that, we believe with the information that was shared with us, the evidence, the tests, the trials, that everything's pointing to the cost savings that will not only be savings for the district, but savings for our employees. So I'm excited about going forward with this.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I have a question.
I really think that we need to also do it in a workshop, not just the insurance committee. I think they would be better if we all
Sure.
look at it together.
Yeah.
I think it would help us all look at it at one time. If you're for that, I would like to look at it as a total board in a workshop setting.
Very
And then we can all look at it and make those decisions together on
Yes,
that.
because-
I'm, like I said, I know Javier has been a big proponent of it.
Yes.
And I know my cousin's a nurse as well. But I think that at the end of the day, I think if the money, I think the financial part of it works out, I think we'll be good, you know?
Yes, sir.
Right? But I think if we do it as a whole workshop setting, it would be a better situation.
Very good.
Mr. President, I have a comment.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I know that I've been bringing this to the board now for 4 years. And I'm glad that this board finally, after 4 years, is listening to the cost savings that we have. I know that quality of life for our employees, longevity of life for our employees is key here. Just want to let the board know, I agree with Oscar saying we do need a workshop so we can work out the logistics between our group and the Cleveland Hospital at DHR. I also want to remind the board that we're the big gorilla in the room. We're the ones that own the plan. We have all the money. So we have a lot of leverage on pricing, a price that we agree on that will be affordable to our district. I know that the cost of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, all that, you know, it's astronomical compared to what we're gonna pay for these surgeries. So I'm looking forward to getting this thing off on a great start for our employees in our district, but I would like to also have another workshop setting where we can all truly understand what this is all about, so we can have a better explanation to our employees when they ask us.
Yes.
Thank you, board, after 4 years for considering this, because I've been pushing on it the last 4 years. So thank you, board, for getting it on the agenda finally.
And also, along with Dr. Ambrosio Hernandez, I'd like to thank Mario for being a big part in making this happen also. And I look forward to working together. And it's on the ballot. All those in favor? All those opposed? For the record, Mr. Alamia abstained, and the rest of the 6 voted for. Passed. F, approval of purchase on online instruction supplemental resources recommended for the.
So moved.
Very good.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. G, approve the Department of Information Resources, DIR quote for the purchase of computer desktops for federal
So moved.
programs. The total is $651,200.
We need them. So move.
A second,
Discussion?
discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Salinas, hopefully this will be eligible for reimbursement when we get the money coming down. You think this would be a reimbursable?
It's possible. Computer systems is part of the earmarked
Let's keep it in
monies.
mind.
Mhm.
Pay ourselves back.
Yes, yes, the thing is, the federal money that we'll be getting at the tune of 140 million, it does specifically state
Computers.
Computer systems.
computers. It does.
Okay, that's good.
It's
So-
146.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
146. I stand corrected. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Omnia-US Communities quoted for security cameras equipment installation for Edinburgh High School.
So move.
Second,
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. I, approval request for qualifications RFQ student physicals, cost $60,000.
So move.
approval.
Second.
Approved, motion, second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. On J, there is a correction. And the correction is that the cost of the approval of competitive sealed proposals, CSP 2131 lumber and related items, it is not 100,000, it's 150,000. I am just making that clarification. All the board members have with them the new updated amount of 150,000. It was a typo, and it needed to be publicly corrected.
So what is the correct amount?
150,000 instead of 100,000.
Was I have 150 and 150.
Me too, on the board book.
Uh-huh, the amended and, or the correction.
It was on the agenda, sir.
Oh,
Maybe it's on
I'm
the
sorry,
agenda.
it was on the agenda.
Oh,
On the agenda that the public sees,
Yeah.
it has 100,000. So, I made the correction, just for transparency purposes, for them to know that it's 150 instead of
Gotcha.
100,000.
On the board book, it says
Okay.
100.
Yeah, on the board book is correct.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Mr. Science, with lumber going up right now, do you think that's enough money?
Currently, yes, the numbers are going up with the price of materials. If we need to increase it, we'll bring it back to the board to amend that amount.
Yeah, because I know that we're doing a gym, and right now the lumber's real high. That's what they told us.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
lumber. So basically, it was 100,000 last year. That's why you have that 100,000. That was the last historical number, but that's why we increased it to 150. So
But you think that's a good number based on the pricing right now?
we'll see if it continues as is with the price of materials, then we will have to bring it back to.
Okay.
But this fiscal year, we should be okay, then, if
Okay,
we need to increase
this
it
is to
the
finish
next
this fiscal year?
Excuse me?
This is to finish this fiscal year?
No, it's for a term year, but we will bring it back if we get to that amount.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If so, all those in favor? All those opposed, motion carries. K, approval of competitive sealed proposals. CSP 2151, new fire alarm voice evacuation system for South Middle School.
So
Cost
moved.
$129. Okay, we got a motion, a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed? I'm gonna pull 8L and bring it back to the board. I make a motion, or do I need to make a motion to pull? Okay, I make a motion to pull 8L.
Second.
All those in favor? Any questions? No questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion's carried. 8L pulled. 8M, approval of competitive sale proposal, CSP 2156 bus and automotive repair services.
So moved.
Amount 300,000. We have a motion,
Second.
second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. And approval of cost sum for secured entrance phase 4, area 1, cost $585,772. This came before the Facilities Committee, and now it's coming to the full board.
This is
The secured entrances of one of the elementaries.
There's 3 areas, or this is one area?
Yes, I apologize. This is one area.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? No questions. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. O, approval of construction sum for secured entrances, Phase 4, Area 2, cost $840. Also brought before facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? No questions. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. P, approval of construction sum for secured entrance Phase 4, Area 3, cost $697,185.
So moved.
Second.
This was also brought before the facilities. Any discussion? No discussion? Motion carries. Q, approval of construction fee for Career Technology Education Center construction manager at risk. Cost $101,100,000.
Move for approval.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Now, for discussion, this was the item that the board selected number 2, which is D. Wilson. And the directive that we gave is to make sure they use local contractors, and for them, administration to go back and to go ahead and negotiate to at least the amount that was presented to us by Spalglass. Unfortunately, administration wasn't able to get at least that amount. They went ahead and got below the amount. So they did better than meeting the original amount. They went below the amount, so we're getting a better bang for our buck.
Good job.
So good job, guys, for doing out there and negotiating. So just for the record, it is lower than the number 1 that was originally presented to us.
So can I have that extra money for?
No, you
Corona?
cannot. And also, we'll be able to help out our local individuals with jobs.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. R, approval of RFQ 2143, project manager ranking for career technology education projects. You have a motion? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
So what's the motion again?
What was the motion?
Ms. Garcia made the motion.
What's the motion? For who?
It's for our approval, RFQ 2143, project manager ranking for career technology education projects. R. This is for the CAPE projects and the management of the
Oh,
$31,696,638. That's the grant that we got to go forward with the CAPE buildings.
Who's the recommendation?
Well, we need a second for discussion, don't we?
Yes.
We need a second for discussion. I second it. Discussion. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. President, who are they ranking? Because I looked at the notes and they were all at 10 points each, so what's the recommendation?
I will allow the individuals, who's going to speak on this behalf? No, on who the rankings are and everything else in the process.
Mr. Oteo.
Mr. Mateo?
The administration is recommending SDI Engineering.
Okay.
Didn't you all recommend Broadus? The administration recommended Broadus, didn't you all? You ranked them number 1?
That was the first ranking.
First step.
Yes, the first step, sir. You are correct.
That, if I can respond to it, the
Because it
problem
was my
that, the
understanding,
problem
Mr.
that we
President,
have
that this would come
with
to the
respect to
full
this
board.
rank.
Hold on, Mr. O'Hanlon, hold on.
To the companies in question.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir. Go ahead, Javier.
It was my understanding, me, Mike, or?
No,
Kevin?
yes, sir, you, sir.
Okay, it was my understanding that the full board was gonna listen to the top 3 nominees and decide as a full board our ranking. Because I know that administration did it first and they ranked Broadus, so I didn't understand why, if they didn't went to facilities and y'all ranked somebody different. Now it's coming to the full board. So there's a lot of confusion for me as to the process, because I thought that we had all agreed that it was gonna be done by the full board and do our rankings in and there and decide who would be the one selected.
Well, the full board still has the authority to pick, but facilities went ahead and added 3 to the 4 that originally did the ranking and came up with these rankings as you see them. But the full board still has.
I know that,
Yeah.
okay, because I know that administration ranked Broadus 1, ERO 2, and Posada number 3.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think that, I don't know how facilities rank, but I thought you all ranked. If I'm correct, please tell me, Posada 1, ERO 2, and Broadus 3. Was that correct?
Is that correct? Go ahead, sir.
All right, the problem that we had with respect to the analysis of this is that if you look at how the committee never ranked them, okay? The procedure that we used was they all made a presentation, and each of the individual committee members went back and filled out a form, and we've got those for you to look at, using the criteria that are in the RFP. then you're presenting this to the board, and the question is that there's a couple ways you could accumulate it, and the committee never did, okay? So if you did it by points and you did cumulative points, you get 1. If you did it by the number of raters that rated people number 1, that you get a different result. So, because of differential. So, we're bringing the information back to the board. Both calculations are based upon the evaluation criteria that was in there, but the RFQ didn't say how it was gonna accumulate, and the committee never voted on how to accumulate the total. So, we're bringing you all of the information, and y'all have to make a decision with what you got, or tell us what our next steps are. Because we don't have a committee recommendation at this
So
point.
right now, the recommendation by administration is SDI,
Yes,
correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And that is based on the fact that 4 of the 7 evaluators, the plurality, listed them as number 1. We don't have a committee score.
No. That way, Mr. Salinas, each individual held the same amount of weight and value when the scoring. Because, so, and I believe you had a concern, last time we discussed this project of, somehow it being skewed by, giving one individual, favorites over the other. That's why we, it was calculated as recommended to go ahead and have equal power. Each individual had the equal amount of power. And it wasn't skewed because, the potential of one person giving everybody 10s and the other person 5s, it would have skewed the whole thing.
Right. And I still have that concern, Mr. President, that members of that ranking, not board members, administration, in my opinion, they don't have the construction knowledge, but yet they're deciding on such a huge project, so I still do have that concern.
Very good,
So
sir.
I'm glad that Facilities Committee looked at it also.
Yes, sir. And that's why it was ranked the way it was ranked. That way, each vote had the same amount of weight and value.
Does, Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Estrada, does SDI have construction experience? Because I know they do most of our parks, our civil stuff.
Yes, well, this is project manager, and yes, they have experience doing project management, which is, I mean, he's done a lot of construction, civil work, but he's also done project management.
Mr. Estrada, I have a question, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I know that this board has been concerned about giving other people opportunities to participate in projects. And I know that in the past, Broadus did a big project. I know for the last 10 years, Posada has worked for us and done a tremendous job. And, I'm just also concerned that we have not rotated projects that we're supposed to all this time. And I know that a lot of us on this board have had that concern, but yet administration brings the same people over and over and over and not giving everybody a full opportunity. So I just wanted to point that out too in my comments. So thank you for that, Mr. President.
You're welcome, sir. Any other comments or questions? Okay, the motion has been made, the second discussion has happened. All those in favor for the rankings for the CTE, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Javi, did you raise your hand?
I voted against on this one.
Okay, Voted against. All right. Then motion does not pass.
Mr. President, I have a new motion. I'd like to recommend, ERO to be the construction manager at risk. They haven't got a chance to work with us in over 10 years. They do a great job.
Okay, the motion was made for ERO, and Ms. Gonzalez seconded. Any discussion or question concerning this? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? For the record, aye. I was the only one that voted against it because it wasn't the recommendation of administration and our final recommendation. And for the record, everyone else voted for it. Motion passes for ERO to be the, project manager. Very good. Okay, I make a motion to go into closed session.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? No discussion? Motion carries. Time 8:44.
Hey, Minga. The best teacher in the world, right there. Look at my poor baby still doing homework. Let's hear her face.
Javi, do you have Holy Monday off?
Of course we do.
I knew it.
We have Good Friday, Holy Monday.
We will next year.
Test, test, media room. 3, 2, 1, record. 3, 2, 1, go live.
Time 11:15 PM. I make a motion to return from closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussions? All those in favor? 10A, having to do with 10A3, discussion possible action to approve settlement of all claims in Jane Doe versus Edinburgh Consolidated Independent School District, case number 719CV00309, pending United States District Court for Southern District of Texas, McAllen Division. Mr. O'Hammond?
Mr. President, counsel for the district recommends that you settle all claims in that case in accordance with the terms and conditions of the settlement agreement that was presented in closed meeting.
So, I guess the motion is to
approve the settlement.
approve the settlement that was discussed in closed session.
Yes, sir.
Very good. I make a motion to approve the settlement discussed as in closed session.
So moved. Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If no other discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed? And for the record, no action was taken in items discussed in closed session. Section C, consideration of possible action regarding employment of payroll information specialist programmer, department. Dr. Salinas?
I recommend the employment of the professional applicants as discussed in closed session, subject to the assignment for the type and term of the contract identified for each position. And furthermore, I recommend the employment, reassignments, resignations, and retirements as discussed in closed session. For 1A, payroll information specialist, administration recommends Edson Ochoa.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
For B, administration recommends for varsity football coordinator at Robert Vela, Henry Taylor and Juan Legia.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
C, administration recommends for varsity football coordinator, Edinburgh North High School, Oscar Campos.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? Motion passes.
D, administration recommends for girls head basketball coach at Edinburgh North, Mara Guzman.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
E, administration recommends for varsity football coordinator, Edinburgh High School, Manuel Garza.
Second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
F, varsity, administration recommends varsity football coordinator, Edinburgh High School, Elifonso Esquivel.
Second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
G, administration recommends assistant head football coach, Edinburgh High School, Jimmy Young.
Second. Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries.
That is it.
That's it. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned 11:19 PM.